his brother died, and he goes, and everybody else is crying and making dua, and he's biting into the corpse. Can you imagine the sickness, the detestable sickness that's being described? At a time when everybody's saying, Ya Allah, forgive this person's sins. We just want to remember good things about them. If they owed anybody anything, please come forward so we can dispose of that now. This is the time we have to walk. He's now in the presence of the angels. Right? No. Before he goes to the angels, I want to have one last revenge. Right? Your rage is so terrible that even their death didn't satiate you. This is describing the endless hunger and appetite for ghibah, that you are harming someone even though it will give you nothing. It will give you nothing. And the thing is that the reality of a dead body is that you can't hurt it. The body experiences pain when it's alive. And after that, it's the soul. And you can't access the soul, you can only access the dead corpse. Even Hamza radiallahu anhu, whose body was mutilated, what did Allah say about the shuhada? عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ يُرْزَقُونَ فَرِحِينَ. They are being provided in the company of their Rabb, and they're overjoyed. The body is cut open with the liver chewed into by Hind, but the Hamza himself is overjoyed in the same moment. In the same moment. فَرِحِينَ بِمَا أَتَاهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ وَيَسْتَبْشِرُونَ. In the same moment. So you can't cause him any hurt. Allah's way of saying that when I'm doing ghibah of you because I hate you so much, even though you might think I might think I'm doing you a lot of damage because now other people hate you too. Or other people question you also. Allah is saying, in reality, I haven't done you any damage. I haven't done any damage to you. Because the one that is the victim of ghibah, just like the dead body is the soul is in the company of Allah, the one that's on the receiving end of the ghibah, the one who's being talked about, is actually now in the protection of Allah. They're being rewarded by Allah. Every time people are talking, they're more secure. They're more secure. You can't harm them at all anymore. Okay, let's go further. Let's talk about this concept of dead, eating the dead. And not just eating the dead, eating one's own dead, isn't it? Eating one's own dead. You know who does that? Rats do that. When they run out of food, rats eat their own dead. Pigs eat their own dead. Spiders eat their own dead. Either animals that are associated with filth or animals that are associated with predatory behavior. The spider only builds a home not to have a home. The spider only builds a home to trap others to eat. And actually it doesn't even build a home, it just builds a trap. It's just a death machine. That's all the spider is. Its only function is destruction. Right? And pigs and rats, filth. Right? What is Allah associating these people with? Creatures that either only know how to destroy, never to build. And by the way, when your thoughts, this beautiful mind of yours, when it's so obsessed, when my mind could have been obsessed with learning the word of Allah, could have been obsessed with helping humanity in some way, could have been obsessed with solving a problem, could have been obsessed with something creative, exploration, learning, wisdom, but now it's obsessed with you. And how much I hate you, and how much I need to see you taken down. And this tongue that could have been doing the dhikr of Allah, that could have been speaking the truth, that could have been teaching something good, that could have been sharing something kind. Now this tongue is being used to do ghibah. Right? Then I'm just a machine like a spider, just for destruction. I just need something else to chew on, even my own. No one is safe from me. No one is safe from me if that's the case with me, right? The obvious is that the dead can't defend themselves, right? But let's take that a bit further, because that's the most obvious. Obviously, someone dead can't defend themselves. Just like when I'm thinking about, there was three things. Dhann, tajassus, ghibah. When I'm doing dhann, I'm thinking about you that you're an evil guy. Can you defend yourself against my thoughts? You don't even know. You don't even know, because when I meet you, I'm like, Assalamu alaikum, brother, how are you? MashaAllah, how's the family? In my head, you're Shaitan's first cousin, but not to your face. To your face, MashaAllah, how's your Ramadan going? Alhamdulillah, so good. Right? When I'm spying on you, can you defend yourself? Do you even know? No. When I'm talking about you behind your back, can you defend yourself? No. In all three cases, you're doing something that the other person can't even respond to. They have no response, just like a dead body has no response. But then, taking that a step further, if I had those thoughts about you and I shared them with you, If I was spying on you, if I was following you, and you just stopped and looked back, hey, what are you doing? If I was talking about you and you walked in the room, ooh, all of a sudden you had so much to say. I had so much to say about you, man. This guy, you don't even know, man. I don't even. Astaghfirullah, bro. Astaghfirullah. He makes Fir'aun look like a humble guy. You don't even know this guy. Oof. Man. And he's standing right behind me. Right? I turn around, all of a sudden, is my mouth running more or less? All of a sudden, how's it going, Ramadan? How's your Ramadan? Why did my tone change? I was so brave a second ago. I had so much to say. You know what that means? I can only talk about this guy when he's not there and can't defend himself. This person could never go and attack his brother. He couldn't punch his brother. He had to wait till the brother died so he can eat his flesh, right? So the only time you got a lot to say and a lot to think and a lot to do is when the other person's not there to respond. What does that demonstrate about the person who's doing it? Cowardice. You're such a man, you're such a woman, you're so enraged by this person. Have you talked to them? Astaghfirullah, I'd never talk to them. I'll talk to you. I'm not going to talk to them. Why won't you just talk to them? They're going to beat me up. First, they're going to prove me wrong, and then I won't have anything to say. I want nothing to say. I've been put in this situation a few times in my life. It's been entertaining. And I won't name names, obviously, but I'll just share an experience with you. There was one time I was invited to speak at this conference, and I didn't have time. I had other schedules, so I said no, thank you. And the guy called one of my friends, who was also going to speak at the conference. He says, you need to convince this guy. I don't even like Nouman, but if we get him, then it's going to get more views and more attendees. So can you just convince him? But honestly, I don't even think anybody should listen to him, etc. He had a lot to say. My friend, mashallah, was a good snitch. So he came and told me. I was like, okay, let's get on the conference call. Let's do this. Hey, so you told my friend here that you don't like me. Why you don't like me, boo? What's up? Why you invite me if you don't like me? Can you tell me? No, that's not what I mean. There's just a lot of, so many misinformation. And I was like, why didn't you talk to me about it? It's complicated. It's just, I just feel like, I was like, no. Here's what's going to happen. I'm never going to speak at any of your things. And that's because you have zero integrity and you want to talk about the legacy of Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You can't even uphold the simple akhlaq of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. When you have a problem with someone, even a believer, have some fear of Allah and speak straightforward. Bro, I don't like you, but I still want you to come. I would have respected it. I would have just ittaqullaha wa qulu qawlan sadida. It's not complicated, but it requires a little bit of courage. People get very brave when they talk behind you. The face changes when they're in front of you. The tone changes when they're in front of you. Everything changes in front of you. If I didn't experience this firsthand multiple times, I would never have known the depth of this problem, right? So passionate, so long as you're not in the room. So long as you're not in the room. Anyway. And the other thing is then some in this Islamic scene, things are weird. People sometimes come and tell me, this sheikh or this person has a lot to say about you. They have a lot of anger towards you. I was like, okay, here's my number. Give it to them. Can I have their number? No, they'd rather not speak with you. Oh, okay. Okay, well then carry on then. I'll keep collecting good deeds. I don't mind. I'll take commission. I need it. Allah knows I need it. It's one thing that you don't have access to the person and you can't talk to them, right? But now we've come in a new era. This is even crazier. Now we're in clickbait era. And especially the young guys here, you need to understand these things. That's why I'm being straightforward with you. You have to learn your Islam by learning Islam, not by entertainment Islam. Like meme Islam, or like get the right thumbnail to watch the video Islam. That's not Islam. And now you're like, oh, this person's doing a refutation against this person. You see this nonsense? Right? Oh, I'm going to watch this guy. They got a lot to say. Oh my God. Can't wait for the response video. And behind the scenes, this A made a whole video about B. B calls A up. Bro, we're friends. We had dinner the other night. Why are you doing this? Yeah, just, it's just some things you said. Okay, let's talk about it. Why did you make a video? Why did you talk to me about it? right? And then they talk about it, and then he'll make another video, he even called me. He was so scared he called me, because he's just feeding off of the views. It feeds his ego when he sees the thing go viral. It feeds his agenda, right? You can't even talk to him, because every time you talk to him, you're feeding more of the problem. So you just have to, no, he won't even talk to me. Right? Because you're not someone you should be talked to, because you are a ghiba machine. You just turn it out over and over again. And they're feeding on it and they're enjoying it. That's the sickness of this problem. When you guys have a problem with someone, instead of writing an unambiguous meme about it or a story status, when some people think they got away, hashtag hypocrites. Sisters don't do that, of course, ever. They don't write generic, scathing criticisms with an ayah or a quote and then make sure that this person sees this story. That's not about you. Why you get paranoid? Right? We have to get out of this sick cycle, because now we get to the next part. When someone eats dead flesh, are they hurting the dead or hurting themselves? They're getting sick. They're getting seen as disgusting. They're getting seen as someone that nobody should ever be around, because even their own brother wasn't safe from them. They're seen as a coward. They're seen as a bottom feeder. They're seen as someone who consumes the most disgusting thing. When someone consumes gossip, when someone is consumed by spying and gossip and these things, then they are bottom feeders. They are the worst of creation, and one should stay away from them. No one will see you as a brother. So now, this is describing someone who has an appetite for filth, an appetite that expels you. And finally, let's talk about these three pieces: one, and tajassus, and ghiba. Assumptions, snooping around, spying, and then talking behind somebody's back. All three of them. Actually, all three of them are appetites. All three of them are appetites. The first one I talked about a little bit in depth today, right? I'm consumed by my rage, and it feeds me to think about this person. It becomes a kind of food, just like the imagery of eating from the corpse. Investigating and finding validation for this, my assumptions, is feeding my assumptions. Right? Now I can feed, my assumption needs food, and the food will come from the spying. And the worst of it all is ghiba. It's the top of the top. That's the climax of the whole thing. Now I'm feeding my ego, because I'm proving someone as a terrible person, which implicitly is trying to say I'm a better person. It's actually a boost of one's own, ego, to put somebody else down. Look, if there's only two kinds of people when it comes to value. There's people that do something that's valuable, right? And they push themselves to do more and more and more of something that's valuable. And then there are people who don't want to do more, but the only time they feel valuable is when they make someone else feel less valuable. So by comparison, they feel higher. Either you're pushing yourself up or you're trying to push somebody else down. That's the only scenario left for you, right? So clearly these people don't want to push themselves up, so their entire business becomes pushing other people down, and ghiba is the mechanism by which they do that, and that's what feeds their ego. That's what feeds their appetite. May Allah protect us from them. So, having said all of that, the last thing I want to share with you today is something about these three things actually being amazing qualities of a human being. The ability to think and make assumptions. I told you science wouldn't exist without assumptions. What is science? You have a hypothesis, right? Do you have proof for your hypothesis yet? No. It's one. And then you have to investigate and experiment, tajassus, tahassus, to prove your hypothesis, right? And once you prove your hypothesis, then you want to share it with other people and publish your findings and increase the knowledge of humanity because you explored in this exploration. All of human knowledge begins with a thought, and you validate that thought with investigation. And after investigation, you share the knowledge that you found. And humanity is the people that did the most incredible kinds of creative thinking and the most unique kinds of experiments, explorations, and then published and taught their findings are some of the most noble, pioneering human beings in history. There's a reason we're sitting in a building that has electricity, that has fans, published paper, technology, cloth, everything we do is actually from dhann, tajassus and ta'aleem in the end, opening your mouth.